Hello everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day. This is A Wild Approach, where we discuss all things wildlife gardening. In today's episode, I'll be discussing the fruits of our labor as gardeners. The butterflies are thriving, and even though the work is never finished, we can see the benefits of adding native plants right here in our own garden. A garden isn't just for beauty, it's for food, shelter, breeding oasis, foraging, shade, sun, water, and so much more. Does your garden lift your spirits? It does mine. Sometimes life feels scary and difficult, but a garden can become a sanctuary, not only for us as humans, but also for our insect and bird friends. Now let's get right into it. I decided to spend a day in the garden, filming the butterflies. The Gulf fritillaries were soaring overhead and even down low to the ground. They were chasing each other and hatching from chrysalises, left and right. Buckeye butterflies were hanging out too, as well as skippers and other insect friends. The taller of my native flowers were in bloom. Things like ironweed and frostweed, aka white crownbeard, were taking over the landscape vistas with their white and purple blooms. The swallowtails showed up several weeks ago and haven't been around as much lately, but the Gulf fritillaries exploded this year, and I think we have more than ever before. I found over 10 different chrysalises on or near my house the past week or two. I've seen 2 hatch already and missed one that must have hatched when I wasn't outside. These butterflies are vibrant, especially the females. Wings of burnt orange and the bottom of the hind wings feature silvery spots that remind one of ornate mirrors well suited for these majestic creatures. They have been landing on the lantana, sure, but they have also been loving the ironweed and the frostweed. The frostweed seems to be the favorite of the 2 tall natives. I've been wanting to replace the lantana since it's not native, so if you have any suggestions, leave those in the comments. I need more late July and early August blooms, as well as early spring blooms. September and October blooms would be nice too. Basically, May through early July are covered pretty strongly. I think even early spring is about to be a good time for blooms in my garden too, actually, because the wild plums, redbuds, viburnums, black cherry, and dogwoods are getting more mature these days, which means more blooms. So late July and early August are my biggest gaps for blooms. I noticed that Phlox paniculata is blooming at that time here, but it's not as drought tolerant as my other plants, so I worry that I should pick something more suited to these dry summer days. As I watch the fritillaries and the buckeyes sip nectar from the tall white crownbeard plants, I'm reminded why its aggressiveness is a good thing. It can seem annoying in spring when it's not in bloom and it's popping up everywhere, but when these dry, hot days hit in summer and these white blooms come out, it's clear why they are worth it. The butterflies, bees, and wasps really love white crownbeard, aka frostweed, aka Verbicina virginica. I mean, they love it a lot. And it's one of those plants that grows wild in fields, thickets, forest edges, and even disturbed areas. It's easy to grow and spreads vigorously by seeds. I think my lesson is to pull it out of the front of the beds, but let it do its thing in the back and even the middle of the garden beds. It's well loved by me and the butterflies. Do you need a short, quick guide to get started in wildlife gardening? Well, turns out I've got just the thing. I just came out with a new free ebook just for you, and it's called A Wild Approach to Gardening 101, and it's available on my website today at macylou.com/shop. It's free, so go check it out. What do you have to lose? You'll want to plant it in the back and middle of your garden beds. Probably the back though, right in front of your large shrubs or trees. If it comes up all over like it does in my garden, dig or pull it when it's still small if it's where you don't want it, like in the very front of a bed near a path, for example. It gets difficult to transplant as it grows taller. However, I highly recommend letting it exist somewhere in your garden because not only do the butterflies visit it for nectar, but it's a keystone species that provides for about 20 moth and butterfly caterpillar species and is relied upon by 17 pollen specialist bee species in the eastern temperate forest ecoregion according to nwf.org. That's the National Wildlife Federation website, which is a place you can go to get the top Keystone species plants for your ecoregion. The link is kind of hard to find, so I'll put it in the description below. And that should help you get started with your garden. You know what else I notice in my own garden? Butterflies sometimes use surprising plants for shelter. Gulf fritillaries, I've noticed, use my backyard goldenrods for shelter in storms. They perch on the stems of the plants, which have volunteered themselves in my garden. I didn't plant these goldenrods. The fritillaries love using them, as well as the volunteer asters back there, for shelter. It's fascinating, because at first glance, these plants don't look like they'd be very good for shelter. However, butterflies know what they're doing, and they keep their wings together, appearing almost invisible because they get so thin. I always thought I'd see them using grasses or shrubs or trees before I'd see them using goldenrods and asters for shelter. If you're like me, you love learning something new, and creating a garden for all wildlife, including the butterflies, has been a constant learning experience. It's like a natural library outdoors, packed with things to discover. Now let's talk about something that isn't going as well: monarchs. I haven't seen any monarch butterflies this year, even though I have more milkweed than ever before. My common milkweed looks great until about July or August, and then it starts to drop a lot of its leaves. My butterfly weed does fantastic, but it seems to go dormant earlier than the common even does. So I'm thinking of buying some other types of milkweed native to my area as well, but more suitable for dry conditions. Butterfly weed is suited for dry conditions too, but it just seems to go dormant so quickly in my garden. My common milkweed is all a clone of one plant, so that could be part of its issues. And its flowers are always eaten off before butterflies can even use them for nectar. So I'm thinking my garden just needs a different kind of milkweed to bridge the gap. What do you all think? Asclepias quadrifolia may be a great option. So could Asclepias verticulata. Asclepias amplexicaulis may work too. If any of you have any experience with any of these 3 milkweed species, please leave a comment down below. All 3 are native to my county of East Tennessee. I also want to know, how many monarch butterflies have you all seen, and where are you located, state or region? I'm in East Tennessee, the Ridge and Valley ecoregion, and I haven't seen monarchs in or near my garden this year. I saw 2 last year, I think, but it seems I barely see any when I do see them, and this year, none. On the bright side, I have seen more swallowtails and gulf fritillaries than ever before in my own garden. I don't think I've seen a pipevine swallowtail this year, but I hope to fix that in coming years by purchasing some pipevine for my backyard. Pipevine is a plant that likes more rich soil, so I'll need to put it in my alleyway garden, most likely, as that is where my compost pile, my brush pile, and lots of leaves fall in the autumn. The soil there seems richer than most other areas of my garden, and it's also pretty shady if I plant it up against the garage wall. When I saw pipevine growing in the wild, it seemed to grow under trees and shrubs on mountainsides and had decent moisture levels. It also seemed to grow in leaf litter areas under trees. So I think my alleyway garden area would best suit pipevine. Have you all noticed some wins and some losses with your garden? Have you had more butterflies and bees this year or less? What went right and what went wrong? Let me know down in the comments below. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Brand new items are now available in the shop. Thanks so much to viewers like you for supporting the channel. To support the channel, like the video, comment, and subscribe. You can also support my work by buying art from me at macylou.com. Thanks for watching!